Hi there and welcome to episode 8 of the England Golf Podcast. It may be game, set and match at Wimbledon and the final whistle has been blown in the drama of the Euros, but there's plenty of golf action teed up for the month of July. My name's Ian McFarlane, thanks for joining me as we take a quick spin around all that's happening in and around the world of England golf. Before we start, the breaking news over the weekend surrounded the England women's squad as they became European champions. A 5-2 victory against Sweden in the final at Royal County Down capped a superb week for the squad featuring Emily Toy, Leanna Bailey, Charlotte Heath, Annabelle Fuller, Hayley McGinty and Rosie Belsham. Find out more about their win on the England Golf website and social channels, and also look out for a special feature with winning squad members in the August podcast. Now, coming up on this edition of the podcast, England men's squad player Sam Bairstow tells us why an emotional text from his grandma meant the world to him after he achieved a boyhood dream and qualified for the 149th Open at Royal St George's. We hear from England Golf's Chief Operating Officer Richard Flint about iGolf, the new platform which will allow non-members of golf clubs to pay an annual subscription and obtain and then maintain an official WHS Handicap Index. The Olympic Games start later this month in Tokyo, and there's a strong England golf connection in the Team GB golf squad heading to Japan. Team GB golf leader and England Golf's Performance Director Nigel Edwards tells us more. We round up all the latest news from England golf events in the past month, and we also travel to Yorkshire to hear from County Secretary Jonathan Plaxton, who helps us preview 3 top-class England golf amateur events for men, women and girls that will take place in his county in the coming weeks. First up though, it's Open Week, and for Sam Bairstow, it's the stuff of dreams. He only started playing golf aged 12, and 10 years on he's made it through 2 rounds of Open qualifying to line up alongside the world's elite at Royal St George's. Sam's pathway to the top is an inspiration for any aspiring junior golfer, and I caught up with him ahead of his debut in the world's greatest golf championship to hear about his route through qualifying, what it means to him and his family, his Open memories, and those inevitable first tee nerves. Sam, everyone dreams about playing in an Open, but you're actually going to live that dream. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Obviously, to come through qualifying the way I did, I'm proud really of what I did over the last few holes. So yeah, it should be a good week.
Just take us back to St Anne's Old Links then. An opening round of 63.
I just putted amazing. I think I put it on my stats and I gained 5.5 strokes putting, which is quite a lot. So. I didn't hit the ball great off the tee, but I sort of found areas which were alright in the rough. My iron play was really good, so yeah, just obviously didn't make a bogey either, so it was just, yeah, good round of golf.
That's a course record as well.
Yeah.
Did you realise that?
I didn't know that. No, I didn't realise until sort of after the second 18 either. Someone came up to me and said, "Can we just get a picture with you with the scorecard?" So yeah, that was an added bonus.
So you're a 63 in the first round,
Mm-hmm.
You then go into the second round,
yeah.
And at that point, are you thinking Open Championship, or are you trying to keep in the moment?
I was sort of thinking about it at lunch, but you're always going to, aren't you? So, and then I teed off on the 10th and birdied the 10th, which sort of settled me down a bit. And then I made a couple of, when I started my back nine, which was the front, I made a couple of bogeys, 1 and 4, just from bad tee shots, and I don't like looking at scoreboards, so I didn't really know what was happening, but managed to make 3 in a row, 6, 7, 8, which was nice.
And then of course you walk off the 9th green, it would be for you at that point. And at that point, does somebody immediately tell you, or how was it? Did you have to wait for a long time to find out if you were in?
Not really, no. My caddy he sort of came up and gave me a fist bump and whatever and was like, well played. So I sort of had a feeling, then I walked around the corner and looked at the scoreboard and saw I was 12 under and third and no one could really catch me, so yeah.
What was the heart rate like at that point?
I was probably a bit calmer when I saw the scoreboard. I sort of realised. But yeah, I just couldn't really believe it. It didn't really feel real at that point, but it sort of does now, a few days later. Sort of been thinking about it a bit, so.
Yeah, I'll bet. When everyone starts out in golf as a kid, you know, you're on the practice putt and you've got a putt to win the Open, that's how everybody does things, but you're actually going to be playing in it. Are you still having to pinch yourself?
A little bit, yeah. Sort of the last few days I think I've realised that I'm actually playing in the Open. I've seen some stuff on social media sort of at the stands, and so I've seen a video of a greenkeeper rolling the first tee at St George's, so I'm sure I can do some damage to it with a divot.
It's that big yellow scoreboard at
Yeah.
18, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
iconic.
I've seen that. Yeah, it'd just be special, really, walking up in my first practice round. I think just with no fans there, just to what it feels like, and then obviously when the fans get there, that'll be really good. Yeah.
In terms of Open Championships, what does that mean to you? When's the first one you remember?
Probably Rory at Hoylake. Properly, I remember when he won there.
That makes me feel old, Sam, because that was only 2014.
Yeah, probably that one. That was the first one I went to. So, and I remember seeing Tiger there, and obviously Rory when he won. And then after that, probably Spieth at Birkdale. I went to that one as well. Yeah, whenever the atmosphere is always, obviously it might be a bit different this year, but at least we've got fans in. So, but the atmosphere is always really good at an Open, so it should be good.
When you were there in 2014 and then 2017 at Birkdale,
yeah,
were you a kid hanging over the railings looking for autographs?
What was your opening experience? I was probably a bit old for that. Probably no. Well, my grandma took me to the first one, and she sort of played golf when she was younger, and yeah, she texted me after I finished, sort of said, I remember taking you to Hoylake and now you're playing in it, so yeah, that was special, yeah.
Yeah. Is she going to be able to come down to St George's and watch?
She's going to try and get down, yeah. Yeah, she's not been very well, but yeah, hopefully she'll try and get down, yeah.
These are nice moments, aren't they?
Yeah,
you can share them with family and friends, because, I mean, am I right in thinking you didn't pick up a golf club till you were 12?
Yeah, about that, yeah, because I played football and then sort of fell out with it a bit, so just went to the driving range one day and just sort of, I just enjoyed it, so I joined up at Hallows, where I'm still at now, and yeah, just been golfing ever since.
It is amazing that in such a short space of time you've gone from picking up a golf club to being at the Open Championship, isn't it?
Yeah, 10 years, yeah.
In terms of next week in the Open and expectations, is it enough just to take part, or does your ambitions change now that you're there?
No, I was speaking about this with a couple of the coaches, sort of my swing coach and Graham, and sort of just, if you go there and just sort of see it as an experience, it'll sort of just be an experience. Whereas if I go there thinking, I can do really well this week, then I'll probably play all right. I'll probably be up there anyway. So if I go there and think, if I just make the cut, I'll just be lingering around there all week. So I'm just going to go there and just treat it as a normal golf tournament. And if I had a golf tournament there and it wasn't the Open, I'd be trying to win it. So I'm just going to go there and just try and play good golf.
Yeah. Is it special playing an Open in England as well?
Definitely.
The fact that you're going to have a lot of home support, even people who don't know you, they'll be rooting for you because of your background.
Yeah, well, the Open's probably my favourite major just because of what it is, I suppose, the history of it and stuff. I never played Royal St George's, but I've heard it's a good golf course, so we'll see when we get down there, see what it's like.
Are you going to tap into the knowledge of anyone who's played it before? Are you close with any professionals or anyone who's got Open experience that you can draw on?
No, I spoke to Graham about it and obviously had some advice off him, and then where I have lessons, Pete Cowan Golf Academy, I've sort of spoke to Pete Cowan a bit and it's about what he thinks about it. And then when I get down there, I'll just be trying to just get as much advice as possible, I think. Obviously with other players there, I've played it so many times, so just to get to play with whoever really would be good, yeah.
Now, Graham Walker, who you referred to there, played the Open, I think, in 1982, which must seem like 100 years ago to a young man like you. But he was telling me that he was so nervous in the first tee, he was actually astonished that he was able to draw the club back and then make contact with the ball.
Don't remind me of it.
Now, I'm not trying to scare you ahead of Thursday, but how you deal with the nerves is just part and parcel of being, in your case, an elite amateur and going forward professional, isn't it? Are you normally quite a calm character?
Usually not bad. I imagine I'll be quite nervous on the first tee. I don't know. I've played that many sort of big tournaments now. I'm sort of used to it, sort of British Ams and stuff, and sort of Open qualifying a bit. Sort of the second round, first tee. Just try and make contact and see where it goes.
And I believe you've been inundated with ticket requests for the Young Championship. It's funny how popular you become
in the week of an Open. Many friends.
So who's going to be joining you for the Open experience?
So on the weekend I've got my mum and dad, my family and my girlfriend and her family coming down, and then sort of during the week I'll sort of have my friends and people from my golf club who've supported me and stuff. So yeah, it should be good just to see them. It'd just be nice just sort of on the first tee, people who I don't really know, and then just to see some familiar faces. That might probably help me calm me down a bit, hopefully.
What's the reaction been like in Yorkshire since you qualified?
Yeah, it's been good. There was obviously, I think there was 3 other Yorkshire lads who qualified as well, so that was good. At my golf club, it's been really good. Yeah, they're supportive up there, and they've sort of done a bit of funding for me before and stuff for golf tournaments. So sort of to give them that back, it felt really good. Yeah.
And you're not the only England golf representative in the Open field. Joe Long, who won the Amateur Championship last year, is there. This will be his 3rd major, so you're trailing him a little bit in that. But I mean, it's great from an England golf perspective, isn't it, to get top amateurs in the world's most iconic golf championship, isn't it?
Yeah. It just shows the work they do. Really, sort of weeks like at Woodall Spa, just obviously with top class coaches, it just shows that it does work. So I'll keep coming to them as long as I can, I suppose. Yeah.
And you're too young to remember a very young Justin Rose playing at Burtondale in '98 as a 17-year-old amateur. But it just shows you that amateurs can play well in a championship because it's links golf. And because a lot of the field aren't used to that kind of conditions. So you're not there just to make up the numbers as an amateur. You're very much in the thick of it. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, sort of. Obviously, I qualified at a links course and then was in Scotland for 4 weeks playing links golf. So I've got pretty used to it, and I actually really enjoy it now. Sort of last year before, I wasn't really the biggest fan of it, but now I sort of accept the challenge it has, and I just didn't. I just really enjoy playing it now. Sort of see what weather you get and try and battle it.
That's it. Now you've got to be focused and you've got to be professional in your outlook. But can you let your mind wander to walking down an 18th fairway with 30-odd thousand people cheering you on at some point in the week? Is that something that produces goosebumps already?
Yeah, obviously, it crosses my mind and stuff. And I've got a couple of people coming down on Thursday who are pretty loud, so I'm sure they'll be on the first tee. It'll just be good just to obviously walk up 18 and just enjoy it more than anything. That sort of experience. But whilst I'm on the golf course, just try and do what I usually do, I suppose.
Great stuff, Sam. It's been great charting your progress in the last few weeks and through Open qualifying, a very nerve-wracking end to that, but well done. And on behalf of everyone at England Golf, good luck for the Open Championship.
Thanks a lot.
Now to a new development in the game of golf that will soon open up opportunities for independent golfers and golf clubs to connect in a way like never before. After it was agreed at the General Meeting last December, and following a detailed period of consultation with clubs, counties and other key stakeholders, England Golf has developed a new connectivity platform for non-club members. iGolf will give all non-club members the opportunity to obtain and maintain an official World Handicap System Handicap Index for just £40 a year. In addition, each iGolf subscriber will receive £10 million worth of personal liability insurance through Bluefin Insurance. Now, offering handicaps to all golfers has been a hot topic of debate for many years now, but with the arrival of WHS, the golfing landscape has changed. I spoke with England Golf's Chief Operating Officer Richard Flint to find out more about iGolf and began by asking him to explain the thinking behind this new initiative.
Really, we want to try and make the game more inclusive, more accessible, more affordable. And it's not just about supporting club members that we'll probably come on to later in the podcast, but this is about giving an opportunity for all golfers to play our game. And importantly, through iGolf, giving them the opportunity to offer an official World Handicap System Handicap Index, along with that personal liability insurance and various other benefits along the way.
Now, there's obviously 647,000 golf club members in England at the moment, but there are many more people who play the game on a regular or semi-regular basis, and this is a scheme that's aimed at them, isn't it?
It is, and look, let's look at numbers. Circa 2.3 million golfers who aren't members of golf clubs. Yes, some people class them as independent golfers, nomads or casuals, which aren't the greatest kind of definitions. They're golfers like you and me, Ian. And again, we don't necessarily want to distinguish between club members and non-members. So we want to give an opportunity for what we're calling iGolf subscribers to get into the sport. Circa 2.3 million. It's a significant number of those people that have decided not to join a golf club initially, but to play on a regular basis. So a lot of those golfers are playing regularly at golf courses, affiliated golf courses. They may choose not to join a golf club for lifestyle reasons, but let's not forget that there will be a high percentage of those golfers that have either played golf on a regular basis, been a member in the past, or are interested in joining a golf club. So one of the key aims and drivers of iGolf is to encourage independent golfers or iGolf subscribers to join a club through inspiring and educating on the value of club membership. But also by providing the handicap index, we're looking to influence a greater regularity of play and a desire to improve. So hopefully that will consequently increase golfer spend. And of course, golfers who have an avid affection for golf and either by choice or circumstance aren't club members at the moment, but are regular golfers, will enjoy spending time and money on their chosen hobby and sport. So again, really to reiterate the point, making our sport more inclusive and opportunities for all golfers, regardless of whether they're a member or not.
I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, Richard, this has been talked about for a number of years, but with the advent of WHS, it's become easier to perhaps pull together. One of the key concerns I think that clubs might have had initially was that this might draw members from their membership to then join an iGolf scheme, but I'm guessing that's not the way you see this, that's not what's behind this. It's to try and push people towards golf club membership rather than the other way.
Absolutely, it's a really good point, and through consultation and discussion with golf clubs on an individual basis or collectively, we've done county workshops with many clubs. It's been a concern that's been raised with us. I think the reality is, and again, as you've just highlighted, we're looking to move golfers along that kind of golfer journey as we describe it into golf club membership. Okay, that's not going to be for everyone. But here, we do also want to protect and support golf clubs. As part of it, golf clubs that want to engage directly with independent golfers can do. They can promote their competition offers, their membership offers, or any other offers they have for iGolf subscribers. We're not going to dictate or force anything on golf clubs. It's not going to be mandatory. But for those golf clubs that want to engage, we'll be providing that connectivity platform for them. I think a really strong point as well is that we've listened to golf clubs and we've put in place what's called a time lag. So golf club members that have been a member within the last 6 months won't be eligible to join. We've listened to golf clubs on that. We want to protect, obviously, golf club membership. We think that's important, as well as encouraging membership as well. So there are some checks and balances in place and to support golf clubs. One of the point, if I can, Ian, is just mention our membership Give It a Shot campaign. It's really important that it's not just iGolf that we're hoping to obviously inspire and educate into club membership, but we have other programmes and initiatives within England Golf that aim to encourage not just people into club membership, but the retention of members. So the Give It a Shot campaign provides resources, creates awareness to help golf clubs promote the benefits of membership, but also support to obviously retain their members as well. So for golf clubs listening to the podcast, please have a look on our website, membership campaign, Give It a Shot. Lots of resources, offers and support for golf clubs to recruit and retain members.
A key element of this as well, Richard, is the fact that there are checks and balances in place, aren't there? Because with any handicapping system, the key to it is the integrity of that system. And some people may have raised concerns about golfers who are new to the game coming in and what were the processes about obtaining a handicap and then maintaining it. Can you just explain a little bit of the background to that?
For sure, and worth pointing out, just around the world handicap system that was launched initially to club members last November, it was the biggest change to handicapping in our lifetime. Absolutely huge, mammoth task involving all 1,800 clubs and 647,000 golf club members in England. But of course, it wasn't just within our territory, it was across the world. So it did present that opportunity to look at non-members, and in our case iGolf subscribers, in terms of the opportunity around handicapping. So just to be clear, an iGolf subscriber will get access to an official WHS Handicap Index. So it's exactly the same handicap index that's calculated for club members currently. As part of that process, iGolf subscribers will be able to download the My England Golf app to start inputting scores and obviously tracking their progress, looking at their updated handicap index, looking at their handicap record, obviously interacting with friends on the app. So again, just to make the point around the integrity of handicapping, and as you said, it's absolutely crucial. Those checks and balances include geolocation on the app. So individuals that want to input their scores, and initially, just to make it clear for iGolf subscribers, they need to have a minimum of 54 holes, either over 80, a combination of 18 or 9 holes to get their initial index. When they're looking to input those scores on the app, they have to be at the facility within 2 kilometres of the clubhouse to actually download that scorecard. They have to pre-register and what we're calling a score intent to say they are putting in a score for handicap purposes. There will be a time restriction on the app that means over 18 holes, it's 2 hours before you can input your scores, the actual final score. And over 9 holes, it's 1 hour. So again, we just want to make sure there's checks and balances in place. A really important thing as well is once the scores have been inputted into the system by the player, they also have to be verified, or what we call attested, by another golf club member or iGolf subscriber. They have to verify those scores until they're uploaded into a player's record. The handicap index is updated, and obviously people can kind of move on to the next round. So really important that all along the way, certainly by using the My England Golf app, that we have those checks and balances in place to maintain the integrity of handicapping.
The golf is modernising in so many different ways, Richard, and iGolf is just an example of that. I guess from your perspective, there's exciting times ahead for golf in England.
It's been a long time coming, and really excited to be giving independent golfers the opportunity to be part of this. In simple terms, there's going to be various promotions through and marketing through various channels. Hopefully we'll get a significant amount of those 2.3 million regular golfers interested in the scheme and joining iGolf.
It's a huge undertaking. It's involved a lot of man hours at England Golf to pull this together. But there has been a lot of positive feedback so far since the idea first came out and people were aware that this scheme was going to start in England, hasn't it?
The team have been great, and it's not just those within England Golf. It's obviously our county colleagues and other partners and industry organisations that have been working with. The reality is now it's about getting iGolf subscribers out on the course, playing more regularly, getting their handicaps in, and really starting to enjoy the game. One thing I'd also like to mention, Ian, if I can, and it's something that has come in again as part of those queries, is that as a national governing body and not-for-profit organisation, from an investment point of view or any surplus we make, what's going to happen to that, which is a really valid question and something we've obviously already consulted with stakeholders on. But just to be clear, any surplus that is returned from this new connectivity platform will be reinvested back into the game. We set up a working group to look at this specifically, made up of county and regional colleagues. And it was clear that the inclusivity element of what we're trying to achieve as a national governing body has to be the priority. So it is further down the line, but any of that surplus will either be invested in special projects funding for golf clubs, focusing on women and girls participation, looking at junior golf development and support for disability and minority groups. So again, the more success that we have with iGolf, the more investment we can put back in the game and develop that going forward. Look out for iGolf, really excited. And again, Ian, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Not a problem, brilliant. Thanks for explaining it all. Cheers, Richard. As if there wasn't a busy enough summer of sport for us all to enjoy, the postponed 2020 Olympics is now on the horizon. Tokyo is the venue for the 32nd Olympiad, and golf is once again part of the men's and women's schedule. Golf returned to the Olympics in 2016 after a 112-year absence, when Justin Rose struck gold for Team GB in Rio. Justin, of course, has a long-standing England Golf connection as an ambassador and a former England amateur international, and the England Golf connection is strong again for this edition of the Olympics, both on and off the course. England Golf graduates Paul Casey and Tommy Fleetwood will fly the Union flag in the men's event, while two former stars of the English amateur game, Mel Reid and Jodie Shadoff, compete in the women's event. Off the course, the Team GB golf leader is none other than England Golf's Performance Director Nigel Edwards, and Nigel joins us now. Now, you've obviously represented Wales and GB&I in your time as a player and a captain, but this perhaps takes it to another level, representing GB at the Olympics. Now, it's a couple of years since you were named as Team GB Golf Leader, but I guess the excitement is growing now that it's almost upon us.
Oh, very, very much so. I mean, the Olympic Games is iconic, and as many people have said, the biggest show on earth. And what an opportunity that has been presented to me. It wasn't expected. I wasn't anticipating this happening, but when the opportunity came along, absolutely grabbed it with both hands, and thoroughly looking forward to the opportunity and the challenges that lie ahead. Really, really special. And I think, over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of administration behind the scenes, as you would imagine, on anything to do with the Olympic Games. It's certainly ramped up in recent months because of all the speculation around COVID and whether the games would go ahead. But for me, when I went to kitting out on I think it was the 21st of June, and you see other athletes there, other officials there, going through the kitting out process and trying on your kit, trying on your formal wear, trying on your opening and closing ceremony wear, and obviously the village wear, it becomes very, very real. And pulling on a jersey, whether it's a polo shirt or one of the fancy hoodies that we've been given, very, very special. And big beaming smile across my face as I walked through the door at home and sat in the bags in the living room. Very proud.
You'll be too modest to say it, but your selection as Team GB leader is a reflection of the work you've done over the last decade or so at England Golf. So, in terms of the captaincy, what has it involved so far? What have you been involved in apart from the administration stuff? Give us a little insight into your role so far.
Well, it's been quite disrupted because of COVID. I did a recce with a number of other sports back in April 2019, where obviously I visited the site, looked at another site that our golf athletes could go and access in the days leading up to the practice rounds at Kasumi Gaseki Golf Club. So we looked at Yokohama Golf Club. They were very welcoming there. And obviously I didn't have a tour of the Olympic Village, because it was very much a building site then. But we saw the site, the development in progress, and, sort of staying in and around downtown Tokyo, and, experiencing the vast numbers of people that populate the city there. And seeing how busy it was. We all think London is busy, but boy, Tokyo is really busy. So visiting the site, I had a great opportunity to play the golf course with a member and the assistant pro, and learned a great deal of them. The golf course is a wonderful golf course, approximately 90 years old, has undergone recent developments, challenging greens, so getting a lot of the insight into the facilities that we will face down there. Obviously our preparations were a tad interrupted, just like everybody else is, with the onset of COVID back in March 2020. So that stopped me going down. And then again this year, another recce was scheduled for this March, and unfortunately we couldn't do that one as well. But Team GB, as you can imagine, is a fantastic organisation through the British Olympic Association, and the preparation and support that I've had from them, and in particular Mike Hay, who's the Deputy Chef de Mission, has been outstanding alongside, the Chef de Mission, Mark England. They've been really supportive in getting me up to speed on all things Olympic Games, as well as, a number of other sports. They've been fantastic. Simon Mills, was one of the other team leaders down there, and, really great group of people who are very enthusiastic about performance and preparation. So really in-depth look into what is going to happen in just a couple of weeks now.
So listen, tell us about your team, because you know them well from down through the years, from competing with them and just watching them on the amateur and professional scene. Start with the men. Paul and Tommy are selected, and it was great to see Tommy on social media, just so proud to pull on that Team GB tracksuit. I saw him and Ian Finnis, his caddy, proudly wearing their Team GB uniforms. So I mean, you've known Tommy and Paul, for that matter, for a number of years, haven't you?
Yeah. Obviously, Tommy works with one of our coaches, Graham Walker, as well, and one of our former coaches, Alan Thompson. So I mean, both of them are exceptionally excited to be going down to the Olympic Games, and both of them have said over the last couple of years how they wanted to make the team. So there is a massive energy between the both of them, and they will be absolutely doing everything they can to make sure they have, first and foremost, a wonderful experience of the Olympic Games, as much as they can within the protocols that we're working under, and also to be successful. They've been a real pleasure to work with and deal with, particularly in the last 2 weeks since the qualification process ended. And I'd have to say both their caddies, John McLaren and Ian Finnis, they're two very proud people who are really looking forward to having a very different experience to their normal tour event experience. So, they're all very proud. When seeing Paul pull on his jersey yesterday, when I'm handing him over the kit, he was like the kid in the sweet shop with all that, big beaming smile and, delighted. So, and likewise, Tommy, he sent me a picture last week as he got his kit, trying his kit on in his garage. So they are very, very excited and enthusiastic about the Olympic Games.
Golf returned to the Olympics 5 years ago now in Rio. There was a bit of scepticism about it and whether it deserved its place. But I think you just need to look at the list of competitors, both in the male and female events this year, and it's staggering. As well as our two boys, you've got John Ram, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Bryson DeChambeau. Rory's playing for Ireland this time. In the women's section, you've got Nelly Korda, Inbee Park, Lydia Ko. I mean, it's the real creme de la creme, isn't it? There are people who have opted not to take part, but the standard is still phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see, I believe the world ranking points are going to be higher in this summer's Olympic Games than what they were back in Rio. So, having that caliber of player competing in the Olympic Games shows that they are embracing this opportunity, and there will always be people who see things differently, and that's fine. But all I can say is that we have a great energy in our team, who all want to be there, and they've all stated that prior to qualifying. So it was a no-brainer for these people to pick up the mantle and try and follow in the footsteps of all the great Olympians, and obviously try and emulate Justin Rose with a gold, and that would be something really, really special.
In terms of the women, Mel and Jodie, obviously part of your team, and they've both been, proudly displaying their Team GB kit and things as well. It's been a great year for Mel, hasn't it? A breakthrough win on the LPGA Tour, and Jodie just gets better and better. A winner of the Solheim Cup alongside Mel a few years ago. In your conversations with them, just how up for this event are they?
Very much so. I mean, I think Mel, she's had a keen interest in other sports, since she was a kid, and has talked avidly about the Olympic Games and her love of other sports. So for her, going to be a very special moment. And as you say, with her breakthrough win on the LPGA Tour recently, she'll no doubt go down there feeling that she can perform. As you've mentioned, Jodie has recently played 3 Solheim Cups, I think, and she was particularly excited, and I think she was slightly surprised when I called her, because she wasn't aware of the withdrawal of some of the other players. So she was particularly excited about what is going to be a great opportunity, and they're excited naturally. I mean, the closer you get, you really get, there's a real buzz, and I'm obviously seeing a lot more than a lot of people, in that I'm seeing what other sports are doing, how they are departing and when they're departing, and the excitement of those people that are going to the Olympic Games and have the opportunity to compete in a wonderful environment and a golf mad country.
And if we're being purely selfish, Nigel, the England golf connection is great to see, and it's just another source of inspiration for the young players coming through the ranks. Not only can you make it individually, but you get a chance to perhaps represent Europe, be it Solheim Cup or Ryder Cup if you turn pro, but there's also this chance to aim for the Olympics, which for any kid growing up, the Olympics is, as you say, the greatest show on earth, isn't it? So it's another thing for our young players to target in their career.
Oh, for sure. I can see it more so because I can remember golf talking about, the governing bodies in golf talking about trying to bid to get into the Olympic Games, and I think that may have been as far back as the World Amateur Team Championships in Puerto Rico in 2004, I think it was, and seeing it develop to now, and getting on the roster of sports competing at the Olympic Games, very, very, very special. And everybody that competes down there will be a brilliant role model, not only for golf, but for sport. Sport really does bring people together. We see the energy now around the Euros with the England football team, and it puts success in sport, puts smiles on people's faces, and the more that we can give golf an exposure to a wider audience, surely that gives us a better chance of encouraging, engaging, empowering, inspiring younger people to go on and achieve hopefully in the game of golf, but if not in other sports. And this is unique opportunities for golfers.
Sure is, Nigel. Listen, we wish you and Team GB the very best of luck at the Olympics. The men's event takes place between the 29th of July and the 1st of August, and the women play between the 4th and 7th of August at the Kasumi Gazeki Country Club in Japan. Nigel, all the best. Thank you.
Now let's catch up on all the latest England golf news. Tracy Williamson and Fiona Edman both had reason to celebrate after lifting silverware in recent senior women's events.
For Sheringham's Williamson, there was success in the English women's stroke play at Hayling Golf Club in Hampshire. Meanwhile, Edmund, playing out of Aldborough Golf Club, put 3 years of injury issues behind her to win the English Senior Women's Amateur at Market Rasen. Getting back in the winner's circle again was a huge thrill for the Suffolk golfer.
I can't believe it, to be honest. I've had 3 absolutely desperate years fighting injuries and not being able to play at all, and it's been so frustrating, even just not to be able to go out and play on the course a few holes with the family. So I came here again with no expectations and really trying to get through the week without doing damage to the elbows. So I've done that, so I've exceeded my expectations, and it just feels fantastic to have this trophy in my hands again.
Jensen Forrester saw off the threat from home favourite Lottie Wood to win the inaugural English Under-18 Championship at Farnham in Surrey, a mixed event featuring 66 boys and 66 girls playing for the one trophy. Forrester from Walsall reckons the format proved to be a huge success.
I think it was a good event because obviously with the times it should be a bit more where we both play each other and more involved with everyone, so yeah, it was good. Every England golf event is always really well organised, so yeah, it's always really exciting to play.
In the Disability Open at Whittlebury Park, Kip Poppert was the star of the show. The Kent golfer claimed his first national title with a 2-round total of 3 under par for a 7-shot victory. And England Golf has announced it will partner with Titleist, the #1 ball in golf, until 2023. Both organisations will work closely on the development of the amateur game in England, connecting with dedicated players of all abilities and providing direct support to the country's next generation of elite golfers. The England Golf Championship season is now in full swing. That's over 50 events for both handicap and elite amateur golfers, taking place all across the country. One county, though, is gearing up for a particularly hectic month of golf. Yorkshire will play host to the English Amateur Championship for men and women at Moortown and Headingley golf clubs. The English Girls Championship, meanwhile, heads to Malton and Norton, while the Brabazon Trophy is destined for the world-renowned Ganton Golf Club. County Secretary Jonathan Plaxton could double his PR for Visit Yorkshire, but who can blame him? I spoke to Jonathan to get the lowdown on the top-rated venues and what our competitors can look forward to when they peg it up at some of his county's finest tracks. Jonathan, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Can I just start by asking how much you're looking forward to this great summer of sport that's coming Yorkshire's way? There's a whole range of events, not only England golf events, but golf in Yorkshire appears to be the centre of the universe this summer.
Well, it's certainly it's great to see golfers out there playing. Our club members have been particularly enthused when the opportunity to play golf again came around. And now that we're able to share it with visitors from beyond the borders of Yorkshire, we're delighted to have so many people coming to enjoy the county that we love so much, Ian.
Now, from an England golf perspective, Jonathan, we've got 3 big events that are coming Yorkshire's way this summer. Can we start with the English Amateur Championship, which is always one of the highlights in the sporting schedule? It's at Moortown and Headingley this year. Once again, it's a joint staging of the English Amateur Championship for both men and women. 2 fine golf courses. Can you just tell us a little bit about both of them and what they will add to this spectacle?
By all means, I think Moortown for most people probably needs no introduction. As they say on a regular basis, a venue for the Ryder Cup in days gone by, but more recently many amateur events in recent years and 1 or 2 professional events as well. There are particularly generous hosts at Moortown. We hold regular meetings there ourselves, or at least we used to before we were unable to do so. The course itself is looking terrific. There have been some changes over the last 10 or 15 years. And recently they've opened up a significant amount of area on the first hole and around the 18th green, which I think is paying dividends with sunlight, air circulation, and also the visibility. So the view from the pro shop, the putting green, the clubhouse is very mouth-watering. And when you look out there, particularly when you're there for a meeting like I am on regular occasions, the desire to go and play it is terrific. The range facility they've got there is now great. And Steve Robinson and the team at Moortown really do a terrific job in presenting it. So Moortown will certainly not disappoint. Headingley, I suspect, will inspire, enthuse many people. It's a course that's not generally been played by people outside of Yorkshire very much at all. It's one that we do use at county level, and John Hall and his team there will be delighted to have visitors, I'm sure, and share with people from outside Yorkshire the joys of Headingley. There's a terrific variety of holes, undulations. It's quite tricky in places. There's certainly got to be some plotting of the golf ball around Headingley, and particularly the opening and finishing holes which cross a ravine are very interesting. Indeed, on one occasion, I think they did have an evening under spotlights where people had a nearest the pin from the top of the hill on the first hole, which involves traversing a stream that runs in front of the green, and you never quite know where your ball's going to finish until it lands. So that's an exciting opening hole.
I'm not sure I'll suggest that to James Crampton for the English Am this year, but yeah, it certainly sounds interesting. The great thing is, if things stay on course at the moment, then obviously people can perhaps come out and watch these events as well, which is something that we've been denied in recent times. And the Amateur Championship is a great spectacle, isn't it? Because it's where tomorrow's professional stars are on display.
Absolutely, and we very much hope that people will be able to enjoy the outdoors and walk the course. I think both venues have room to accommodate people who are spectating, and of course in a match play format, then towards the end of the week there aren't quite so many spectators around, so hopefully there will be room for competitors around, so hopefully there will be plenty of spectators that will come out and watch the latter rounds, in particular the 36-hole finals that can prove so enthralling, as we saw recently at the Amateur Championship final. You never quite know the result until the final putt goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving away from Moortown and Headingley, in August the Brabazon Trophy is coming back to Yorkshire, and another club that really needs no introduction, Ganton, which is simply one of the finest courses in the country, isn't it? And a great venue for a championship of this stature.
Well, it is. It's a wonderful place to play golf. I remember on one occasion playing golf with a gentleman who'd spent, I think, 10 consecutive days there back in 2003 when the Walker Cup was on, and saying to him, thank you for coming back and playing golf with us on this 10th consecutive day. And he just said to me, Jonathan, where would I rather be? And I think that summed it up for me, and I've always remembered that, because on a good day, on a decent day, and to be honest, even on a not so good day, it is a fabulous place to be. Peaceful, quiet, a little bit like Woodall Spa. It seems to be a little bit remote, but the turf, the environment, the lie of the land generally, I think from a weather point of view, presents a challenge, because the Vale of York and the Vale of Pickering have some peculiar weather cycles, and that the whole venue comes together in a way that for golfers in particular, I think you enjoy the day out, the experience. Many golf clubs talk about the so-and-so experience relative to their golf club. The Ganton experience really is something special, and I have to say the work that's gone on in the last 2 or 3 years has really paid dividends. I had the pleasure of playing Ganton myself around the time of my 60th birthday back at the end of May. And it really was a terrific birthday present. The condition of the course was fantastic, in particular the fairways, that they've had some real challenges on run-ins to the greens. The greenkeeper who's taken over in the last couple of years has got his team working particularly well. There's a lot of work being done outside of the golfing period when the greenkeepers had a clear run. And I'm talking about construction work on bunkers and clearing of gorse. Yes, there is some gorse that's gone. There's still a fair bit there. But some of it has gone, and that's, I think, made an improvement in several areas. I think the feature of Ganton, it's a little bit like Muirfield in that holes go in all sorts of different directions. And in particular, the finishing holes at Ganton present a tremendous challenge, the last 4 holes in particular. So, yes, it will be a great test.
As you mentioned there, it's a golf course that is modernising and improving, but the thing about Ganton as well is its great history, isn't it? It's a place when you walk in, you feel the history seeping from the walls.
It is, and I think that's something that they perhaps don't make sufficient people aware of. And Gary Pearce, the manager there, I know, and Emma, his assistant there, they're working towards increasing awareness of that locally and nationally and internationally. I think it's also nice that the Oaks Golf Club is one of the qualifiers. That's another course in Yorkshire which we use on a regular basis. It's actually the home of Graham Walker, England Golf and Yorkshire lead coach, a lead coach alongside Steve Robinson, who looks after the ladies. But the Oaks will be a great venue for qualifying as well. But yes, as far as history is concerned, it's a bit of a sleeping giant is Ganton in that respect, and those historians who like to read about golfing history, I think they would be enthused if they did start to dig a little bit deeper. In particular, the Hitler Trophy is something that many people won't be aware of, and there's a particularly interesting story which starts in the clubhouse, and I'd encourage people to investigate that one.
Okay, we'll let people find that out for themselves. Jonathan, sounds intriguing. I'll do that myself when I head up to Ganton for the Brabazon. As well as men and women taking part in England Golf Championships this year, there's obviously a junior events as well that we roll out, and one of those is at Malton and Norton, a course that people may not be familiar with, but again, a place that just from looking at it, I've not clapped eyes on it myself yet, but just from looking at features on the website, it looks an intriguing course, and one that the girls will particularly enjoy when the English Girls Championship goes there.
I'm sure they will. 27 holes, 18 well established, 9 that are used as an academy course, a terrific short game area, a great golf range, indoor and outdoor cover, a very big car park, so plenty of room for people to go, and a very homely atmosphere, all under the stewardship of Richard Brown, who worked for England Golf for many years and is now the general manager there. I think Malton is one of those courses that once you've played it, you'll ask the question, well, why has this not been on the rota in the past? Why have we not used this before? Terrific variety of holes, some double greens, some flat greens, some dog legs, some fabulous scenery, trees-wise. It's a lovely parkland golf course. Provided you get past the first hole, it's one of the longest opening holes in the country, a dogleg par 5 up the hill. Everything that you would want on a first hole. Not. So provided they can get past that, some lovely par 3s, no giveaways, and a nice par 5 to finish in front of the clubhouse. So, they've been putting a lot of work in preparation for the event, and I'm sure they'll make all the guests very, very welcome.
It certainly is a busy summer in Yorkshire. Does that add to your workload as County Secretary, Jonathan, or is it all plain sailing?
It doesn't add to my workload, Ian, but it's an interesting question, because with the demand for tee times and availability of golf courses, although we have 180 golf courses in Yorkshire, there are a number of courses that we go to on a fairly regular basis, and some of those are in use by others like the R&A for the senior amateur this week at Ganton, and the girls amateur at Fulford in August, and also England Golf. So there are a number of venues that we genuinely felt we couldn't go to because of the demand for tee times. We also have a number of volunteers in Yorkshire, referees and so on, who help England Golf and the R&A, who I'm without. So certainly from a planning point of view, it does impact on us at county level. But Yorkshire's always up for the challenge. We have the benefit now of Golf Genius, which we've been running for 18 months, which I know England Golf also use now. That's helped us to streamline the championships that we deliver. And we have a significant number of volunteers and a terrific support, which I would really emphasise, terrific support from the clubs that we do go to, who are always accommodating and helpful, and we have a great relationship with. So I would certainly take this opportunity to thank anybody at the clubs that we go to for their ongoing help and support, and for hosting the England events as well this year, of course.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because without the volunteers, these events don't take place, and it's the volunteers in many ways that make the success of any championship, certainly that we hold, and you do at county level as well. So, yep, all looks positive for a good summer of golf across England, but particularly in Yorkshire with these events, and we look forward to visiting you, Jonathan, and taking in these great venues.
Well, we'll be delighted to have you, but I know that our Yorkshire competitors will be competing strongly to win on home turf, so bring your best game in.
Okay, I'll try. I'm not sure how good my best game is, but never mind. Jonathan, thanks very much for your time.
You're very welcome, Ian.
Well, that's it for another episode of the podcast. My thanks to Jonathan Plaxton for previewing our championship events in Yorkshire, to Nigel Edwards as he packs his bags for Tokyo and goes for gold with Team GB, and to Richard Flint for his insight on iGolf. And to Sam Bairstow, well, I'm sure he carries everyone's best wishes as he prepares to enjoy the experience of a lifetime and tease it up in the Open Championship as an amateur. Good luck, Sam, lap it up at St George's, and to everyone else, enjoy your golf. Remember, you can keep track of everything that's happening around the club and amateur scene by going to the England Golf website, that's www.englandgolf.org, and by following us on our social channels, that's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Just go to the search engine and put in England Golf. Until the next time, bye for now.